Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great day. Today I'm here to do a roundup of some of the products I have been trying for the month of February. I have actually been in kind of I have unintentionally been doing a low buy the past couple of months. There's been a few things coming in, but I have not been very interested at all in some of the new releases or most of the new releases. And it's been kind of nice to just chill out a little bit these past few months. I do have a few things to mention today, and then I am going to mention some of my favorite books that I've been reading. I've been reading a lot this winter, and I thought it would be fun to add those at the end of the video. First, let's get started with a skincare thing. So Versed very kindly sent me a package with some of their newly repackaged items. So they have come out with some new stuff as well as repackaged some of their favorites. And I wanted to review this one. I believe this has been out for quite some time. This is their Skin Soak Moisture Cream. It has squalane and red algae extract. I have been enjoying this so much. Sometimes it can be difficult for me to find a moisturizer that I like just because my skin is so reactive. I can't do niacinamide, I can't do a whole host of ingredients. Actually, this one works out very well for me. It's supposed to be for normal to dry skin, and if there's a fragrance, I can't detect it. It mostly just kind of smells like ingredients. And even though it's for normal to dry skin, it doesn't feel super thick, but it does feel so nice. So if you're like me and if all of these very super complicated moisturizers tend to make your skin freak out, this might be one you could try. I really like this one. Let's talk about the mascara that I'm wearing today. So I do like to try out a new mascara every month. They're one of my favorite things to review. And I think this is the very first mascara I've ever tried from Revlon, at least that I can remember. So this is the So Fierce mascara. So hopefully you can tell by looking at my lashes that this creates really pretty fluttery lashes. I actually really enjoy how it makes my lashes look. That is how the brush looks. Kind of spiky, but not too spiky. This one, very interestingly, has kind of a really nice texture to it, which I've never noticed before with mascaras, but whenever I apply this one, I feel like it applies so smoothly. I believe it does have like waxes in it, and maybe that's why it applies so nicely. It just feels really smooth when I apply it on my lashes. Sadly, this smudges really badly on me. I'm not sure if there's a waterproof version of this. To me, it doesn't really matter. I very rarely, in fact, will never purchase a waterproof mascara because I don't like the removal process for a waterproof mascara. If I need a mascara that's not going to move, I just use a tubing mascara. But in general, I will still try, other mascaras that aren't tubing. And this one, it really smudges on me. It wears terribly. So this might be one that's better to use as a layering mascara. To be honest, I rarely do that, but that's how I heard someone else likes to use this, which, that's valid. I really like the effect of the kind of full fluttery lashes. So this lip liner from Essence, Essence, they come out with stuff, they immediately discontinue it, then they bring it back out again, different packaging, whatever. This is their current version of their Soft and Precise lip pencil, and I wanted to try what their new formula is like. So this is the shade, if I can find the shade here, number 5, Legendary. I didn't realize it when I purchased it, but this shade is actually very close to my natural lip color. It's probably a little bit more pink than my natural lip color, so this actually works out very well if I'm wanting to wear kind of a nude lipstick for me. Although, to be honest, usually I'm wanting to add a little bit more color. That color on me, it's actually kind of washes me out a little bit. My lips are kind of naturally too pale, I feel, and they just need something. This is actually a little bit of a disappointment. I wanted something that had a little bit more color to it, but it is very effective if I am looking for a nude lip liner for me. I am wearing a little bit of it today on the outside of the lipstick line there, but I don't think you can really see it. It really blends into my lips. The formula is not too creamy, which is what I prefer. The very creamy ones wear more like a lipstick and tend not to stay for a super long time, whereas ones like this will wear a little bit longer. I would not say it's the most ultra long-lasting lip liner, especially if you're wearing a lip gloss over it, but I think it's fine. I really wanted to wear this blush for you today, but it really does not go with the colors I am wearing. So I tried another blush from Nudestix. So this is their Dewy face color, and this is the shade Cherry Blossom Babe. This is much more pink than I was expecting, actually. It is a nice formula. I have to admit, though, that I think I do prefer their matte formula, just for the way that it spreads, but I'm definitely gonna wear this. Nothing wrong with it. Very pretty pink color that'll be really nice in the spring, kind of a brightening pink shade. After I blend it out, to me, it doesn't feel sticky. Maybe a tiny bit of a sticky feeling to it, which is to be fair, normal for a dewy blush. In the future, and picking up colors, I think I'm gonna stick with the matte formula. I just love how that one spreads and blends out. So a friend of mine gave me a couple of these quads from Revolution Pro, and I haven't tried both of the quads yet, but I did try this one. This is the Ultimate Eye Look palette in the shade Hidden Jewels. She gave this to me because she hated it. She had a terrible time blending it out, and she wanted to see what I thought. My initial impression of this, it suffers from a lack of a mid-tone shade. So let me quick swatch these. So we have a kind of barely there whitish, palish shade, a very light lilac shade, and then two very deep shades. So that's where my problem was. I feel like this was not a complete quad. It needed something else, something mid-tone to help blend out these purples, because these purples, well, purples in general can be difficult to work with, and they're not the easiest ones to work with. They require, you know, careful application, or they can end up patchy. I sadly didn't think that this light purple was anything special. I felt like it very quickly kind of disappeared on the eyes and didn't help the situation with these really dark and smoky shades. So looking at it, it looks really pretty, but in trying to use it, it definitely has its issues, and I can see why my friend was disappointed. Okay, now let's talk about two books. I was just gonna do one per month, but I forgot to do one last month, so you get two this time. So sometimes when I get frustrated with trying to find a good modern book, I go back to a classic, but I wanted to read something I hadn't read before, so I tried The Blue Castle by L.M. Montgomery. This surprised me in the best way possible. I honestly can't believe I hadn't read this before. This book is right up my alley. It became an instant comfort read. I know I'm going to go back and reread this one. The premise of a book is a girl who is in kind of a repressed family atmosphere. She's in her late 20s. She's very depressed about the direction that her life is going in. But then she gets some rather shocking news about her health, and she decides she's no longer going to allow others to control her life, and she sets out to do what she wants, essentially. And a lot of times when I hear that type of a description of a book, I am immediately like, no, not for me. But let me tell you, this was the sweetest and just a tasteful story. I really enjoyed it. And while I'm not going to give you a spoiler, I happen to be a person who wants to know if a book ends happily. So if you are not interested in hearing if it does or not, you know, fast forward for the next, 10 seconds or so. But this one does have a happy ending. It made me so happy. The second book I want to mention is completely different. This is called Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. Now, I know Brandon Sanderson, he's a very popular writer. I had never read any of his books before, so this is one of the very first one that I had read. And it's one of his standalone novels, but it is in like the big Cosmere universe he has created for a whole bunch of his books. Even though it is part of that universe, I was able to read this as a standalone and not feel like I was missing out on information. It is about a girl named Tress. She lives on an island. Her boyfriend goes missing at sea, and she decides to go save him. And the whole premise of the book is if Buttercup from The Princess Bride decided to go rescue Wesley instead of just waiting for him to come back. And it has very much that same type of humor. It's ridiculous. It's not meant to be serious. It's just meant for fun, and I enjoyed it immensely. I think it's meant to be a fantasy book. To me, it felt more like a sci-fi fantasy crossover. If you've read either of those two books, you have to let me know what you thought of them down below in the comments. And if you have any recommendations for me, also share. These days I am looking for happy books. Every once in a while I'll read a thriller or something suspenseful, but most of the time I want happiness. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. This is where I always like to share my tea of the day. I think I actually was drinking this tea in the last video I uploaded, but I haven't been able to stop drinking it. This is the Yunnan Dian Hong Black Tea Full Leaf from Tea Viver. Even though it has a very mellow taste, it's very full-bodied in its taste. Just really easy on the stomach and super drinkable. I've been enjoying it very much. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you again very soon in the next one. Bye.